Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Whenever you see this, yes, it's Christmas time. I have my table already, my tree up in this room, and bedroom, and decorations. I love it. I love Christmas time. Today, in fact, this is going to fit into what we're going to talk about, meditation. We're going to do a little bit deeper dive in meditation. I know I talked about a little bit in a previous episode, but I want to do a little bit deeper dive. And I want to talk about the benefits of meditation and the health benefits of meditation, because it's pretty spectacular what they're finding. And I know personally it has helped me. It just has helped me so much to calm my mind, to calm just my inner being. And meditation is a part of mindfulness. But it's not just mindfulness. We can have mindfulness moments like I've shared too, like taking 2-3 minutes throughout the day occasionally and just deep breathe and be present and just look at the room that we're in and look at the things around us and even talk about it in our minds, like, there's the desk across the room. There's the chair across the room. Boy, I like that color. You're just staying in the moment, and that's what mindfulness is. And also, it incorporates gratitude. Just being grateful. Think of the things people, places, and things you're very grateful for. So mindfulness is really important to do, I feel, throughout the day. Meditation incorporates mindfulness. But meditation usually means a longer period of time to just lose yourself, because it helps us connect our body and our mind, and I believe our soul. I think it's a spiritual practice as well. I do anyway. So mindfulness moments are great. Mindfulness within meditation is even greater. So I'm going to do a little bit of looking and reading, because I want to make sure I'm giving you when it comes to the health benefits, the proper science behind it. I don't want to use my memory for that because I might miss something, and I want to make sure that you understand what it is. I also hope to have a little time so that I can lead you into a guided meditation for just a few minutes anyway. And let's see how it goes. So I shared just right now, what is meditation? It's allowing yourself to be connected with your own self, with your mind and your body. It helps us to just let go of everything else and be present in the moment. It helps us to slow down. And we can concentrate on breathing to begin with. And you can breathe whatever works for you. I know some people like to breathe in on the count of 4 or 5. Hold it for a couple counts and then release for a few more counts. So if you breathe in for 4 or 5, hold it for 2-3 counts, then release more slowly. So you're counting maybe to 6 or 7. And when we can regulate our breath like that, we begin to automatically slow down. And also, we're concentrating on our breath, so we're not like using our mind to think, oh no, I got to go to the grocery store. What's for dinner? Oh, I need to pick up the kids. Usually, that is where our minds are throughout the day, right? I know much of my life, a while back, I was raising my family, there were so many things to remember. For me, I was also volunteering. I was also going to school part-time, and I was working part-time, and I had, pick up the kids now and go get dinner and make dinner and get this, it's like my mind all day was just, what am I doing next, right? So I felt like the days were flying by because I wasn't even taking moments to relax for even a few minutes. And I didn't know, I wasn't aware of doing that, actually. There wasn't as much about practicing mindfulness or meditation, back, 20 years, 20, 30 years ago, so to speak, or 40. It's hard to say. My oldest daughter's 46, and I'm like, that can't be possible. I'm only 40. That's what it feels like. But I wish I had known more of that, because it would have saved me, maybe some headaches or just running myself ragged, being sick, because I just would push. So let's take care of our bodies. This is another way of just taking care of yourself, loving yourself, allowing yourself the time to just relax. You can pick a time throughout the day that works for you. Some people, first thing in the morning, they get situated, they get up, they might have their coffee or tea or whatever, and then they can they can time it for half an hour if they want. I've worked myself up to between 50 and 60 minutes a day, and what I call sitting in the power, and I will talk about that in a minute. It's a little bit different than meditation, but meditation leads into it. So, because that's more of a spiritual aspect of meditation, at least for me, from what I understand. Meditation comes in different forms. It can be just sitting quietly. You just, feet flat on the floor, you're sitting up straight, your hands are on your lap. You can take a few seconds to, just focus, look around your room and be very present in the moment. Look out the window, maybe you see some pretty trees. Whatever you want to do to help calm you in the beginning. Take some deep breaths and count, do that 3 or 4 times, and then close your eyes. And then at that point, you can continue to count your breaths just to keep your mind focused. Here's the thing. Yes, your mind is going to chatter. Our minds are just going to keep bubbling up thoughts and chatter, and all of a sudden you're going to think about 50 things you didn't think about earlier. That's the crazy part, right? It's okay, but what we need to do is practice seeing those thoughts kind of drift off in the clouds. They'll come back. It's not like you're never going to see those thoughts again. And some of them aren't even necessary, obviously, but just let them, like as if they're floating off into the distance. It's okay to do that. However you can manage to just let your thoughts kind of bubble up and float away, bubble up and float away. And soon it'll be a little bit less of that. And get back to your breathing and just relaxing. Now, there are a lot of meditations, online on YouTube, or there are apps where you can do guided meditations, maybe for 20 minutes, maybe some are 30 minutes, some are longer. Whatever suits you is what's important, because we need to practice meditation in a way that suits us. We don't want to force something. And sometimes we can even get used to a way we meditate, maybe sitting, every day or every other day for a certain amount of time. You feel kind of restless and a little bit bored, then go do a walking meditation. Get lost outside. Go find a beautiful place to walk, maybe in your area, your neighborhood. Look at the trees. Focus on the beautiful sky, the blue sky, or the clouds kind of wafting by. Whatever season it is for you, or wherever you are, we can still get lost in the feel of just walking and breathing fresh air, seeing the beauty around us. It's very similar. We can get lost that way. And some people do Tai Chi, which is a physical movement of meditation as well. Sometimes just even doing something you love, like I've shared, I like painting. And every year I do ornaments because I happen to like to do that. And I personalize snow people and businesses for businesses or friends or whatever. And it's just fun to do. Again, I paint like a kindergartner. But when I start to do it, I can get lost in it, and just time goes by and I'm not thinking of anything. I'm just concentrating on what's in front of me, and I'm relaxed, I'm happy. So that's another form of a type of meditation as well. So it's not just sitting with your legs crossed, with your hands like that. Some people do, and that works for them. Great, good for them. That's not me. That's not how I meditate. But whatever works for you is what's important, because they find the health benefits. I'm going to get into that in just a second. But when we can rest our mind, it alleviates a lot of stress in our bodies. It just helps those moments of all day long. I've got to do this. I got to go here. I have this meeting. I have that project to do. I've got to call so-and-so. I've got, we take 9 to 5 into 24/7, and that's never a good idea. We have to know our boundaries. We have to know when to stop. It's okay to stop yourself. I know that there's this general consensus of go over the top, do more than you should at work, be the, arrive early, leave late kind of thing. And that can have its benefits, but it's not something you have to overdo and obsess about it, because that's an issue right there if we're obsessing about it. It's doing that when it's appropriate. Sometimes earlier in our life, when we're building a career, that might be okay, but that doesn't mean you don't have to meditate or take mindfulness moments to just calm yourself. Give yourself a pat on the back and go, okay, I deserve these, 5 minutes during lunch. I'm just going to just look out the window and not think of anything, that kind of thing. It's good to do that. So I'm going to put my glasses on because I want to read just a little bit. Also, here's a reminder too, like you can dance while you're meditating, perhaps getting lost in some beautiful music and just swaying, or, just dancing a little bit around your room, or whatever you like to do. Dance can be a type of meditation as well. Whatever suits you will work for you, right? So that's really important. So you got to pick what's right for you. And meditation, like I said earlier, does bridge the connection between body and mind. I think spirit too, but body and mind. I think it can help us with, some people who had, traumatizing childhoods, let's say, in one form or another. And it becomes a way in which we become hyper vigilant to body sensations, or not even be connected with our body at all. Both of those are detrimental. If we're hyper vigilant about every sensation in our body, we can lose our mind. You can become a hypochondriac and think you have some disease that's really not there, or, we'll just feel everything and then think something's wrong. And the only thing that's wrong with that is the obsessiveness about it. Our bodies, when we can learn to regulate ourselves and be quiet within ourselves, our body will tell us things. You know when you have the flu, right? When you get a cold, yeah, I feel miserable. All that's true. We feel it. We know it. Our body's reacting, and it will obviously let us know by our discomfort or a fever. Some of the minimal things, though, can be over-exaggerated. Sometimes I don't know how many bruises I have. I was working out in the garage the other day, kind of sorting and cleaning up, and I've got bumped into ladders and boxes, and I've got different bruises on my body, and I know what it's from. It's from bumping into everything, and I'm not obsessing about it. I'm not thinking, oh no, there's something wrong. There's, oh no. It's just, no, I was bumping into stuff while I was organizing the garage, and so of course I'll have some bruises. That's automatic for me. There's nothing wrong with that, but I can understand how some people might obsess about it, and that's harmful to you, and it stresses you out, and it stresses the brain. We're going to talk about that in a minute too. So here are some, let me read this. Meditation gives people an opportunity, and even sometimes an excuse, to just be in the moment, right? Just be in the moment. Doctor's orders. I'm telling you, the medical profession knows the benefits of mindfulness practices and meditation, and they'll tell their patients, you're overly stressed. You need to just stop. Find a way to meditate during the day. find a good part of the day that works for you and do that. That is medical advice for a lot of people. So here you go. Meditation can ease anxiety and depression because when it lowers some of the chemical reactions within our bodies, the negative chemical reactions within our bodies, the anxiety like hypes us up, depression can keep us down, and you have these highs and lows. When we meditate, we can get into a more balanced mindset and mood, and it definitely helps the inflammation in our brain and in our bodies. It can calm down the thought processes. So let me read this. Research suggests that mindfulness practices can be effective for easing anxiety and other mood disorders. Engaging in mindfulness-based therapy, which combines mindfulness-based cognitive therapy with mindfulness practices, has been shown to reduce cytokines, which are inflammatory stress chemicals that lead to depression. Also, it's been observed mindfulness meditation helps people curb negative thinking and keeps anxiety from taking over. Meditation has the ability to help individuals cope with symptoms of anxiety and depression, including negative racing thoughts or even body tension and discomfort through self-awareness alone. Okay, how about that? So when we can be self-aware, when we can just sit and go, oh my gosh, I'm feeling on edge and anxious. I'm really feeling moody and I'm kind of depressed. When we can take time to actually feel this within us, we can go, okay, I want to balance this out. And then you take the time to do these mindfulness practices and meditation practices. Now, I know the word practices, it's like, oh no, one thing on my plate, one more thing on my plate. Now I got to do it ought not feel that way. It should be at a point where you're like, yes, I need that. Yes, I got to do that. I got to do that right now because I am feeling anxious. I need to sit and I just need to breathe, concentrate on my breathing and counting and slowing down my breathing. And then whatever kind of word you might have put, a word or a phrase you want to just express over and over to yourself until you feel it. Peace, peace, peace. I feel peace, peace. And you keep saying that and saying a certain phrase and breathing with it. You're thinking about that and not the other things, right? It's slowing you down and it's helping ease some of the racing chemicals within our bodies or the negative thoughts because we're thinking of something else. And in the beginning, it does take for you to be willing to do this. It doesn't just happen. We can't wait until we feel like it because for many people that'll never happen. But once you start it and you begin to feel in time the benefits, you're going to go, oh, I don't want to miss that. I got to get up early. I want to do that. I know I have a busy day. I got to do this. There is a recording mogul, a record recording mogul who says, I forgot, I'm going to botch this, but I think you'll get it. He said, gosh, I have such a busy day today and I'm meeting with other executives and I have a meeting. And he goes, gosh, I don't have time for 1 hour. I've got to do it for 2 hours. And he'll get up extra early and meditate for 2 hours. That's how disciplined he is because he knows the benefit of it. And here are some of the, I'm going to continue with the benefits because I'm getting ahead of myself about that. Meditation can bolster self-confidence. Meditation has the power to allow people to connect with their true selves. Honestly, your authentic self. Raising self-awareness, confidence, and self-inquiry. By giving us a sense that we are in control of every situation, meditation assists in boosting one's sense of self-worth. when we can control ourselves, when we can take those moments of time to have 10, 15, 20 minutes, working yourself up to how long you want to do meditation practices, mindfulness practices. You build self-confidence doing that because you're incorporating that self-discipline within yourself and you're going, I did that. I got it. I did it. I did it. And you're doing it. And that's the best part. And that builds self-confidence because you know you can do other things. And when our mind is racing and busy and anxious, that's when we can tend to make more mistakes or flubs. When we use meditation throughout the day or first thing in the morning, it has such an effect that can last throughout the day. And then we get things done in a timely manner, and it does build our self-confidence. That's how self-confidence is built, when we achieve the things that we hope to achieve. Now, sometimes we might not make it throughout the day. Maybe we have a list of 5 or 6 things and we get 4 or 5 of them done. Great. Don't beat yourself up. That doesn't help anything. But just know that you got the other things done that maybe you might not have had you not taken time to slow down and just deep breathe and know that you are capable of getting the things done that you want to do. That's how we build self-confidence. So I think that's a good thing. And meditation reduces stress, and I touched on that. Let me find what I really want to concentrate on this, on the stress part, because we just talked about the stress part. You know, when we meditate and then throughout the day we get stressful, you know, maybe there's traffic and we're, you know, or we get to the office or we're within our homes or whatever, something comes up and it's like, oh my gosh, I can't. That is the exact moment we can discipline ourselves to go, okay, I'm going to de-stress here for a second. I'm going to take 5 minutes and I'm going to just breathe. And I know I can get through this little mini challenge here. I know that I can work through this. And you tell yourself that and you breathe and you bring peace into your life and then you get it done. It's so hard. Believe me, I know it's hard when those moments that we're all like, oh no, gosh, oh, we don't, the last thing we think about is calming down, right? If we can train ourselves to take that opportunity to calm down and just breathe, maybe go into another room or whatever you need to do, just breathe. Just breathe. Emotions that run through us, especially the intense emotions, let's say anger, they only take 60 to 90 seconds to run through us. The habit has been that we hang on to them and then make them a huge issue all day long. But those type of emotions only take 60 or 90 seconds to run through. So if we can get a hold of that right away and just start breathing, start concentrating, look out the window, look at the bird flying by or the clouds in the sky, breathe, give yourself some breath. When we breathe, we're oxygenating the whole body and the mind. That's what we need. When we're stressed, we're doing that, we're not breathing very well. And it makes us more tense. The body wants to tense up. Whew. When we breathe, it relaxes our body. And it can relieve the stress. And that is important because it can also, here's the next one, it can improve sleep. Meditation can improve sleep for us. I don't know how many of you have had trouble sleeping. I have. I've had periods of my life where I've struggled with sleep. And I had to incorporate different bedtime hygienes, as it's called medically. And knowing what to eat, when to stop eating, what types of foods were affecting me, what stress levels were affecting me, what was keeping me awake, what were the thoughts on my mind, what was like going through my head. You know, we all have those times in our lives when there are challenges. We're worried about maybe loved ones, our own health, somebody else, or something at work. And we haven't built healthy boundaries for ourselves. So mentally, we're stressing when we don't need to, right? We don't need to, but we do. Because when we stress, we're never going to get the answer we need because we're coming at it with stress. And when we calm down and when we breathe, we can sleep on it. Oh, people say sleep on it. And then the next day we kind of go, oh, I know what to do. Oh, I can do that. So in the evening, let's say you're having a hard time sleeping. You've had a hard time. Here's something you can try. First of all, always make sure you're eating right, that you understand what foods you're sensitive to that can keep you up during the night. Usually it's carbohydrates and alcohol. They keep us awake. They cause restless leg syndrome as well. And, but, so it's understanding the whole of it, okay? When we are hydrated and we know we're eating well, the next step too is to rest your brain. You know, we tend to go to bed right after looking at the news. Don't do that. You're stressing yourself out. That's causing stress, even subconscious stress, because it might trigger a little something in you that you're not aware of, but it's just keeping you awake. It's like you're so tired, but your mind won't stop. One type of restful mindfulness, what you can do is while you're just in bed, let's say you're staring at the ceiling. This has helped a lot of people. I know it's helped me. And again, it's breath counting. So I would close my eyes, and it feels kind of like, I don't want to do this at first. But then when you get into it, I know for me, before I know it, I'm drifting off to sleep just in a few minutes. And it's breathing. It's slowing down my breathing, concentrating on my breathing. It's concentrating on the breaths of counting in, you know, maybe 5, holding it 5, and releasing it in 7. That works for me. You have to find your own counting that works for you. And as I'm doing that, as I'm concentrating on that breathing and the counting, I'm realizing, oh, my body's, I feel relaxed. And you can also cause yourself to relax. Is your neck stiff? Okay. Breathe into your neck and just kind of loosen it up and relax. What about your jaw? What about your shoulders, your abdomen, your thighs, your knees? And concentrate in those areas and go, oh, that is kind of tight. Oh, okay, I'm going to loosen that up and loosen it up. I'm doing it now and I'm feeling very relaxed. So that's another way of just kind of helping yourself get to sleep and relaxing your body. When we're stressed, we're like this. Our body tightens up. When we can deep breathe and we can count our breaths, all of a sudden, we're getting more relaxed. Then we can concentrate on what feels tight. Oh, my shoulders. Kind of wiggle them and relax. Breathe into your shoulders and relax them. You'll drift off to sleep. I don't want to say I guarantee it, but for a lot of people, that method works. So that kind of mindfulness breathing and that meditation at night, you'll hopefully drift off to sleep well. And if you happen to wake up in the middle of the night, I've also used that, where you wake up but you can't get back to sleep. That's a good method to use. Meditation improves brain health. Did you know that? Now, all of this has been studied, okay? So this isn't, like I said, doctors will recommend meditation and mindfulness. Meditation has shown to be potentially valuable tool for the prevention of Alzheimer's. How about that? Yep. It improves both memory loss and attention span in general. See, that's what I need. I am kind of ADD. I need to improve my attention span. And meditation has helped me do that because I've needed it. And I utilize that for myself, because if I don't, if too many days go by and I haven't just sat to sit in the power or meditate, I find myself, my mind being cluttered again, because it tends to do that automatically. But when I can slow it down, my attention span and my focus is much greater. And that's what I need to do for myself. And I think other people who might have issues with ADD or ADHD, meditation has helped them as well. Also, it's helped veterans, by the way. Other research shows the impact of meditation on the gray matter portions of the brain, which are responsible for receiving information and regulating outgoing information. So it regulates that. It helps the gray matter, helps our brain, what goes in and what comes out. Sometimes if we're too stressed, we won't hear pertinent information that we might need. Or we might not be able to express what we need to communicate with somebody because we're so stressed. And I know I've gotten that way where I get tongue-tied if I'm like, too emotional or upset about something. And I've allowed myself to cross that line where it's like, I've got to come back. I've got to come back. I've got to slow down so I communicate well. Because when we're overly emotional, it's hard to communicate, right? We're human. That's going to happen. But again, if we could take some deep breaths, tell the person we're with, I need a minute. I just need a minute. Give me a minute, please. And just, again, go in another room or just sit there, breathe, whatever you have to do. Whew. And then you'll find more clarity because your brain isn't stressed out and inflamed. Okay, meditation can help curb addiction and cravings as well. So this is taught in a lot of places, rehab and whatnot, places where learning how to meditate, again, because it clears our mind, it slows down some of the processes of connecting everything with when we're stressed. Again, it's all connected. When we're stressed, I know for me, emotional eating has been an issue most of my life. I'm much more in control now, but it can still flare up. And so it's good for me to go, oh, I got to sit with this. I just feel like eating. I feel like eating every cookie there's ever been made, that kind of feeling. Not that I would or I could, but it's that feeling, and just sitting with that going, I've got to just let this pass. Remember, these kind of emotions only take 90 seconds to pass. If you can sit for 90 seconds, 2 minutes, breathing slowly, you'll get through it. And then you'll think more clearly about what decisions and choices you do want to make that are better for you. So it also can help those who are addicted, because if they're going through rehab, let's say 12-step or whatever, and there are those moments, ask anybody. I know I have friends who've been addicted, and I understand that even though they're not using anymore and they have a great program, it's not like those feelings won't come up or those thoughts. And for some of them, they can just sit with it. They can sit, they can breathe through it, they can change their thought process, they can think of something else, they can calm their minds with it, and then make the decision, oh, I'm going to call my sponsor. Oh, I'm going to go for a walk. I'm going to whatever they want to do. I'll fix a healthy meal. When we calm our brains, we have better chance of making better choices for ourselves. So that's really important to understand. And I know there's more medical information about that. I don't have it at hand, but it's good to know that meditation can help curb our addictive patterns and our cravings. Meditation can ease pain. Some people live with chronic pain. And I know I have a family member who lives with chronic pain, and it's so hard on them, and I feel for them. And getting into a meditative practice can help. Again, it's a body-mind connection. It's doing what you can for the pain, but also taking and feeling like you have some control of that body-mind connection and some control over the pain. Might not make it completely go away, I understand. But it can help ease when we ease our minds. And so let me just read what is talked about here. A consistent meditation practice enables people to be aware of sensations throughout the body, including framing pain as a sensation that can be managed rather than something that is happening to them. So it's the thought process of having some control of managing that sensation rather than it overtaking you. Because, when we're in pain, it feels that way, doesn't it? It feels like it's just overtaking us. And if there's a process at all, and sometimes it does, because it forces us to go to the ER when we need to get extra help, right? But there are times when if we can manage it to the best of our ability with what doctors might prescribe, but also I know a lot of people who are in pain don't want to use medication. They'll do everything they can to subside any inflammation in their bodies, whether it's through nutrition and supplements, but also just meditation. So it's a consistent practice of that. Mindfulness meditation has been found to significantly reduce chronic pain by impacting multiple chemical and physiological aspects of the brain. So again, when we're calming the brain and when we're breathing, it alleviates some of that inflammation and some of the stress-related thoughts we have about the pain. Even in labor, some of the breathing practices in labor helps a lot. Doesn't make the pain go away, but it makes it more manageable. Been there, done that. So that's all I'll say about that. And sometimes not manageable, but it does really help. I will say that. Meditation controls food cravings, and we just covered that. In one study, participants underwent specific mindfulness eating training, which helped them learn to better tap into their fullness and hunger cues. Yeah, so many of us, this is where if we eat emotionally, we never know if we're hungry or we're full or what's happening because our emotions take over. But when we use the body's cues of actually being mindful of feeling, that the hunger pains that we feel, oh gosh, it's time to eat. I got to eat. Plus I feel kind of low energy. It's time for me to eat. I got to eat. And then choosing whatever healthy foods you want to eat, whatever it might be for you, salad, chicken breast, extra veggies. Maybe I'm gluten-free. Once in a while, I'll have gluten-free toast. I try to keep my carbs really low, but I still like to have toast once in a while. So I choose a healthy gluten-free type of bread. If I know what I'm eating ahead of time, it really helps also with cravings because you know what's coming up, when you're eating. And I won't go into all the benefits of intermittent fasting because you can look that up yourself, but that's good too. I don't eat breakfast. I don't usually eat till noon or 1. So for me, that works for me. And I find I feel more healthy that way. I benefit from that. And I have even used mindfulness moments of breathing when I felt like I got to eat, but I really didn't. I had to connect and go, I'm not hungry. Where did that come from? Because I feel fine. I feel energetic and I feel great. I can keep going. I'm not hungry, but it's the old habits of you're hungry, you got to eat. I'm like, no, I don't. So meditation can help us be mindful of our own body cues of when we're full and when we're hungry. And knowing when to stop eating. Some people just don't stop until they're overly full and then they feel miserable because that's a habit. But if we know we have the right proportions and the right amount, we know when to stop. Our body feels satiated and we have to cue into that. Meditation, mindfulness practices can help us do that. So it's really good. And last but not least, meditation decreases blood pressure. While it says more clinical research is needed. So this is one area where they're doing more scientific research, but they know that it's promising results between engaging in meditation and our mindfulness-based practices. It stresses reduction. What? Oh, it reduces stress. I'm going to reword this because the way it's written out. The strategies and lowering blood pressure. So meditation practices, mindfulness practices, and the strategies of it can lower blood pressure. Meditation can relax the nerve signals that contribute to blood vessel tension and the fight or flight response. Okay, remember the flight and flight, we get triggered with something and all of a sudden the flight or flight comes up and the freeze, and we go into this mode, and the body's chemicals starts racing, and our breathing gets shallow, and the trigger's taking off, and the inner child is coming up. The whole system, it's like a second. It only takes a second. Again, if we can just understand that will take just 60 to 90 seconds to get through us, take a breath, deep breathe, relax. And the more we do that, it can lower blood pressure. There are other health issues about high blood pressure. Obviously, it has to do with weight, it has to do with cholesterol and eating and blah, 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 blah. But this is a technique that, included with other health benefits that people will do, which is be mindful of what they eat, how much exercise they get, and combining it with meditation to relieve and release the stress in the body. It can lower blood pressure. And again, that is suggested in the medical community. So meditation has the power to change and even save lives. And that is the bottom line of this. It sounds like it's drastic, and how can that be? But it has. I mean, they wouldn't say it if it hasn't. And I know the benefits for me over the years when I've practiced it. Now, sometimes, some days you might not, maybe you skip a day or two or whatever. Don't beat yourself up over it. That's the worst thing you can do. Just get back into the groove of sitting, finding time to sit, work yourself up to a half an hour if possible. And again, there are meditations, guided meditations on YouTube and different apps that you can use that can be really helpful. And before you know it, I know when I sit, I'm like, that's why like an hour will go by, and I'll kind of come back into consciousness and awareness. I'm like, what? That felt like 5 minutes. Those are the best. Those are the best times. So I'll take just a few minutes. This won't be a very long guided meditation, but it'll at least help you understand what a guided meditation can be like. So if you can, wherever you are, just relax. Get in a good position. If you're sitting, that's helpful if you're sitting. Feet on the floor, hands in your lap. Just relax. Maybe look around the room or look out a window. Take a deep breath and close your eyes. And just concentrate on listening to my voice for these next few minutes. I'm going to ask you to take another deep breath and count to 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold for 2 and let go, and 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's do that again. Deep breath in 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold for 2. Out on 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Great. That's great. Now just breathe regularly, but be mindful of your breath, making sure your breaths aren't too shallow. Concentrate on your head and neck. Does it feel tight? Go ahead and relax that part of your body. And your shoulders. If you have tension in your arms, relax your arms. Take a deep belly breath. Make sure your belly expands on this one. Go ahead. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold for 2. Out 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Make sure to take deep belly breaths occasionally. Be mindful of your hips and your buttocks, your thighs, your calves, your feet. Just relax everything. There's nothing to do at this moment. Just listen to my voice. Now, as you relax, just be mindful of your breath. Every once in a while, make sure you're breathing well. Now, let's go on a little adventure. Find yourself on the beach. It's a beautiful day. The weather is perfect. You've set your towel on the sand. You're already sunscreened up. And you begin to lie back. And you can hear the waves just gently lapping on the shore. You can hear the waves come in and go out and in, and it goes out. It's a beautiful rhythm of the waves. And you notice the sound of some seagulls overhead. You can see them fly and enjoying the breeze that's lifting them up in the sky. As you look at the sky, you notice a few clouds, just simple clouds, just drifting by slowly. You notice how relaxed you are, how peaceful it is. You feel the warmth of the sunshine on your body. It feels wonderful and gentle. You begin to think of how peaceful you feel at this moment. There's nothing to think about, nothing to worry about. All is well in this moment. Remember to breathe. Again, you can hear those gentle waves lapping up on the beach. Coming in and flowing out. The rhythm is hypnotic. I'm just going to leave you here on the beach for a couple minutes and I'll be back. Take some deep breaths. And you're aware of the sounds again. The waves of the seagulls. And now it's time to get up and grab your towel. Or you can stay seated there if you'd like. It's up to you. And just be aware of your surroundings. And open your eyes when you're ready. And that is an example of a guided meditation. There are plenty more, all different kinds, and you can look them up. You can find what suits you and ones that might calm you. Some people might not like to go to the beach. Maybe they like to go for a walk in the forest, and there's some of those as well. But whatever you do, I hope that you will incorporate meditation into your life. You will find it such a benefit in many ways. You'll be calmer. You'll be less reactionary. That's a good thing. That's a plus. And you will connect with yourself in a way that you would not have had to before, or that you didn't before. So it's always good. So I thank you for being here. I will see you Friday. And I hope you have a good rest of your week. Thanks, Sherry. Remember, you're an amazing human being. You're a miracle on this planet, and you matter so much. See you later. Bye for now.